We begin tonight with breaking news. A freeway shut down after a deadly crash.
And Stu Medell is live over the scene in Tustin. Stu.
What happened out here on the southbound 5 freeway? An auto versus pedestrian just past 4th Street on the southbound 5 freeway. But where that accident occurred, the California Highway Patrol was forced to shut down all of the southbound lanes, taking everybody off at 4th Street. You get back on at 1st, and that is a small bottleneck, but take a look at this backup that it's creating. There's about 3 or 4 miles worth of backup. California Highway Patrol is saying that they are moving smoothly right now and that all lanes should be reopened shortly. But the backup right now, as you can see, is very slow and go for about 3 to 4 miles to the crash scene. Live in Sky 2 over the Tustin area, I'm Stu Medell. Back to you two in the studio.
All right, thank you, Stu. And more breaking news about Hurricane Florence pounding sideways rain, whipping winds, and tens of thousands of people without power tonight.
And this is just the beginning.
That's right. The East Coast is going to get hit hard for days. CBS 2's Tom Waite joins us with a look at the storm that's barreling into North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat and Jeff. I mean, this video is terrifying. The radar is terrifying. As you said, this is the beginning. The real fear is the slow pace of the storm, that rain could fall for days. It's already been a very wet summer in the region, and this volume of rain could be devastating. In Beaufort, North Carolina, conditions are rapidly deteriorating. High winds and heavy rains are pounding the area. Florence is moving in. CBS correspondent David Begnaud is on the ground there.
You guys, we've come inside. We're at a condo complex, but just listen to it behind me. I mean, the wind is insane. We've lost power here.
Other correspondents posted in the bullseye of the hurricane struggled to speak as they were blasted by the storm's fury.
The bands there were a lot of time between bands earlier in the day, and now it's a fairly steady drumbeat of rain and wind.
I wanted to see it, and you can, I mean, look, I'm not like super tiny. I'm almost 6 feet tall. Residents
in Hampstead, North Carolina, who did not evacuate, found streets flooded and impossible to pass.
We live right up here at the top of the road, and this is our sound where we've grown up and lived all our life. That island that you barely see right there is usually about 6 or 7 foot out of the water,
which could last for days. Evacuation orders have been given. Many are heeding the calls to leave. Marcy Akers arrived at the inland shelter after hearing the warnings.
The cops told me I needed to evacuate.
What did they say?
They said that it was going to be a bad storm for trailers.
We're still forecasting 20 to 30 inches, possibly 40 inches or more.
And those visuals are just absolutely stunning. Officials are warning power outages could last for days or even weeks, and now it may be too late for many to leave. Let's go back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Tom. Now, what a difference a few hours makes. This is the same area of New Bern, North Carolina, before and after the rain started rolling in.
So let's get to Garth Kemp with the latest on Hurricane Florence. Garth?
Yeah, well, we continue to track it about 35 miles right now, just off of Wilmington. When I went through Andrew, it was so strong. Besides the storm surge, it was the heavy winds, but it went through quickly, so the rain wasn't as much of an issue. That's not the case right now going on. Here's what we're tracking right now. Some of the outer wind bands hitting through Wilmington as we speak are blowing at around 117 miles an hour, and some of these outer bands just up towards Wilmington. That is the nasty part of the hurricane. All these barrier islands at Wright Field Beach right now are going to be underwater. They're picking up over 10 feet of water surges in some of the river area locations. The other thing we're watching is just down towards the south. What I think one of the models is showing that's usually pretty accurate is this thing's going to come to the south, then make a west turn. It could make a double landfall early tomorrow morning into Wilmington, and then it could come back off it down towards Georgetown, Cat Island. If that happens quickly, it'll pull a little farther east off Myrtle Beach. If that happens, that will get the dirty side of the hurricane. That could cause billions of dollars of damage up into that area. So that's one of the models that's been fairly accurate. We're going to continue to watch that as well. We'll have more plus our forecast coming up in a little bit. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Garth. And stay with CBS 2 for continuing coverage of Hurricane Florence. In just a few minutes, we will get a live update from a reporter in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Caught on camera, chaos at a local tribute to the late actor Paul Walker.
And CBS 2's Peter Dowd is live in West Covina with details. Peter, pretty chaotic.
Very chaotic. Pat and Jeff, right now police here at West Covina are asking for the public's help in identifying the numerous people involved in the violence here in the parking lot of this shopping center. It was all recorded on cell phones. We want to warn you, the video you're about to see is disturbing. Multiple videos posted on social media show the chaos that broke out at a tribute for the late Fast and Furious actor Paul Walker. Wednesday night's meetup of car enthusiasts in the parking lot of the Plaza West Covina shopping mall included crowds doing wheelies, ripping burnouts, but even more disturbing, assaulting 2 mall security guards. Videos show a member of the crowd shoving a security guard, which turned to punches being thrown before other crowd members stepped in to break up the fight. The security guard then returned to his damaged truck amid chants from the crowd to tip it. People also jumped on top of the windshield. Police soon arrived and most of the crowd took off. Police plan to charge the suspects with felony vandalism and assault and battery. And again, they're asking anyone with information, if you know who they are, to give them a call. Right now, we are told by their colleagues that the 2 mall security officers are doing okay. So that's the good news. Reporting live in West Covina, Peter Dowd, CBS 2 News.
Well, one person is now confirmed dead after 3 Massachusetts towns were rocked by sudden gas explosions.
CBS 2's Crystal Cruz joins us now live with the very latest. Crystal?
Yeah, investigators still haven't said what caused all of this. We now know the victim is identified as an 18-year-old Lionel Rondon, who was killed when a home exploded, sent a chimney crashing into his car. Authorities are blaming the tragedy on oversized pressurized natural gas lines.
Firefighters high above the ground tried to put out the flames at this home. It's just one of dozens to catch fire across 3 towns north of Boston.
There were flames coming out of the top of the house.
Several people were injured, including at least 1 firefighter.
It is unsettling, to say the least.
Authorities blame the fire on gas lines that become overpressurized. One man said the furnace in his basement burst into flames. Crews scrambled to fight all the different fires, which would hit one home and then another several blocks away.
It's like it's one house right here, it's another house down the street.
It's very strange.
As day turned to night, firefighters were able to get the flames under control. People in one neighborhood say around 5 o'clock they felt and heard a loud explosion, and minutes later saw fire trucks and first responders flooding the streets.
We just heard like a massive explosion. It just shook the house. So at that point, we got out of the house.
Entire neighborhoods were evacuated with fears any home could be next. People were asked to shut off their gas line, and eventually gas was cut off to the entire area. Power was also shut down in hopes of preventing another fire.
I mean, how scary is that?
It's pretty scary.
Authorities say 10 people were injured. Now the FBI is investigating along with state police. Back to you, Jeff.
Crystal, thank you. Go to some breaking news right now. Sky 2 is live over a fiery crash in Garden Grove.
And that's where we find Stu Mandel. He's in Garden Grove with the latest. Stu.
Well, that's right. It turns out it started out as a minor traffic collision. No injuries. Let's be very clear about that. Nobody in these cars. Minor traffic collision at the corner of Newland and Trask out here in Garden Grove. Everybody's out of the cars, but then the cars catch fire. Fire department here just arriving here on scene. That's going to be the Orange County Fire Authority. They're putting some water on it. Intersection's going to be closed. Something to see for sure from the air. Right now, they're putting these fires out. No injuries to anybody inside those cars. Started out as a minor crash, turned into a fiery crash in the end. Live in Sky 2 over the Garden Grove area. I'm Stu Mandel. Back to you two in the studio.
And out to a David and Goliath battle in New York. It went the way of the incumbent. Governor Andrew Cuomo beat actress turned politician Cynthia Nixon in the Democratic primary tonight. Cuomo got 64% of the vote, Nixon 33%. Cuomo, seeking a 3rd term, will face Republican Mark Molinaro in the November 6th general election.
A SWAT sweep of an internet cafe in Orange County ended with more than 50 people in handcuffs. CBS 2 Orange County reporter Stacy Butler is live in Santa Ana with more information. Stacy.
Pat, the Happy Time Internet Cafe behind me has seen happier times. It is now boarded up and shut down after police discovered an illegal gambling operation inside. 8 people now behind bars. Tonight, under police protection, crews boarded up the Happy Time Cyber Internet Cafe in Santa Ana, removing massive arcade machines.
I'm just so happy. Our neighborhood will be so much safer now.
Earlier today, SWAT officers descended on the business in a surprise sting and arrested dozens inside.
It's a lot safer for the kids to be walking around in this neighborhood, and it was out of control here.
Sherman Camacho lives in the neighborhood. He says neighbors complained for months about the illegal activity and armed gang members inside the internet cafe. In the last 10 days, police showed up.
Every time they will come here, they will take people with guns all the time.
I say about time. It should have been done a long time ago.
This neighbor, who didn't want to give her name, says the business was illegal and turned the neighborhood upside down, littering it with condoms and hypodermic needles. This summer, she walked inside to see for herself what was going on.
I saw drugs. I saw a pawn shop in the back corner that was full of laptops and computers, and the crime rate in my neighborhood has skyrocketed since this place has been here.
She started this online forum and organized meetings with the city council, police, and neighbors. Because of community concern, police showed up today looking for illegal activity and guns.
There's prostitution, there's drugs, there's guns, there's illegal gambling 24/7.
Earlier tonight, police released a number of people inside, like Jessica Doucette. She said the raid was terrifying.
They just showed up and started breaking windows and the back windows, the side windows, just pointing guns at us.
In the last couple of weeks, undercover officers have shown up here, and they have made arrests for grand theft auto, narcotics. They've even arrested armed gang members, they say, that are documented. That's the very latest from Santa Ana. Back to you guys in the studio.
Just minutes away, we'll get a live report from Wilmington, North Carolina on Hurricane Florence.
And Garth Kemp is tracking that slow-moving storm.
Yeah, it's pretty much stalled out for us right now. We'll have a complete forecast. Plus, our quiet weather pattern rolls on for the weekend. We'll tell you about it coming up.
Plus, a big development in the Paul Manafort case. Could he be nearing a plea deal?
And find out what caused this dolphin frenzy off the Orange County coast.
And here's a look at the guests tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.